So,
See? Nice, right? Got it done. Look at this up here.
so I'm not seeing. Well, how do you get on to where people can see where you're talking with people?
I don't never skip this out.
Alright.
We should practice this first.
I mean, it says it's on. I don't know that it's.
I can't see the screen. You want this for your live?
No, I don't want that. Okay.
You get it? You're in your live?
Can you go live on your camera and see if it shows up?
Go on your live?
On yeah, because I sent the.
Oh, right.
Okay, it's going.
Yeah, I never got anything from you. I never got any link for the Zoom.
You didn't get it?
Mm-mm.
You should have gotten an email today. You should have gotten it 30 minutes ago. You didn't see it?
I did not get one. Let me go. Maybe it went into my spam. Yep, it was my spam. There, it's reported as not spam. Not spam. Okay. I don't know.
You have it?
Yep. Are you typing?
Can you turn it? Okay, there's nobody on it. Can you turn it down?
There's one other person
That's me.
and another woman.
Okay.
Three people.
Hello, everybody. I don't see you on the chat yet, but let's see here. If you could drop a note in the chat, and I can see you.
Tell them you're working out your technical difficulties.
Technology is great when it works. Hey, Joan, how you doing? Zoom works much better than this. Okay, what I'm gonna do here is I'm gonna click on Zoom. Copy invitation. So what I'm going to have everybody do is we're having a problem with Facebook here. So if you could click on the Zoom link that I just put into the chat, and then we'll just do it on Zoom because this thing's not really coming together the way I want it to. Did you click on the the Zoom link? I don't know why it's not.
So where's the Zoom?
It's in there.
And we're in the chat?
Should be in there.
Oh, here it is. Records and revenue, scheduled Zoom. Okay, then that's cool. 35, 36. Done that.
Hmm. Were you able to get on it?
I'm doing it right now. I had to download the app. Okay. 2, 3, 4.
Hey, Joan, can you turn on your camera and your video and your audio, please? Hey, Joan. I can't hear you. You're gonna have to unmute yourself. Okay, Joan, can you say something? I can't hear you. Dustin, can I hear you? You got to unmute yourself. Why are these people not coming on here?
Meeting ID 821.
Dustin, can you unmute yourself? Joan, can you hear me? Okay. I can't hear you. Hey, Dustin. Why can I not hear everybody? Do you have any idea why I wouldn't be able to hear people on Zoom? I've never had this happen before.
Themselves usually is what the,
Oh wait, here we go. Here we go. I think I figured it out.
yeah.
Okay, Dustin, you can hear me now, right? Can you say something?
Yeah.
Okay, Joan,
Yeah.
you can hear me now, right?
Yes, I can hear you.
Okay.
I couldn't hear you from the beginning.
Thank you. All right. Well, I want to welcome both of you. If we get some more people in here, something happened with the Facebook Live, so we just changed it. So I want to welcome both of you to the Repower Your Psyche Challenge. And what I want to share with you today are some things that I've learned over the years of working with the human energy system. All right. Well, I want to welcome both of you. If we get some more people in here, something happened with the Facebook Live, so we just changed it. So I want to welcome both of you to the Repower Your Psyche Challenge. Okay, you'll both need to unmute yourself.
Okay, can you hear me?
I can hear you. All right, Destin, you can hear me
Okay.
too, right? Okay.
Yeah.
So, let's see. And we got somebody else signed in now. Okay, so I want to welcome you to this Repower Your Psyche Challenge. And I want to share with you today some things about what I've discovered that makes up the human energy system and how we can use the human energy system to increase performance, health, and our psychological well-being. And the human energy system is something that I started working with many years ago, almost 40 years ago. And I was taking a class in Dayton, Ohio. It was a martial arts training class. And we were doing this martial art was kind of more of an esoteric kind of a thing where we were learning to feel energy. You could feel somebody punching you. So we were learning if somebody threw a punch, you would have your eyes closed and you would feel that coming. And so what we did is we started to expand on that and to start to work with being able to see and feel energy around people. And when we were in that class, what happened was, as I was doing the exercise, there was a specific series of relaxation type exercises that we were using to help us to drop into our bodies and to relax our eyes to be able to see this energy and to feel it around people. And as I was standing there, I started to be able to feel this energy around myself and around the person that I was standing in front of. They were standing up against a wall about 3 feet away. And in the room, we had, different kinds of training equipment. We had like leather punching mitts. And I could smell these things. And I went into a heightened state of awareness where I started to be able to see energy around somebody. At first, it was kind of like dark. And then there was like this gold color. And then I started to be able to see energy around people. And it was really fascinating because I went into sort of a heightened state of awareness where I could not only see the energy, I could feel it, but I could also detect that, that there was something there between us. And this experience really increased my interest and piqued my curiosity about what the human energy system is and how I could work with it. Because what I did was I really started to think about my years of training people, and this actually happened when we were in Hawaii, Joan, where when I was working at the gym, I started to be able to see energy around people when I was training my personal training clients. And from there, I started to figure, instead of trying to use it in a martial arts context, I wanted to use it in a way that people in the healthcare industry could use it to enhance performance or to learn to heal other people more efficiently. And so around about 2001, I was still in Hawaii, and I just got this idea that actually my girlfriend said it was maybe a good idea to write a book about it, because I had written a book about it years ago and it had fallen out of my backpack or my bike pack when I was riding across the country. So I started writing this book. And when I started writing the book, I started writing it with the idea that I knew nothing about the human energy system, or what I eventually came to call the human energy system. This time, there wasn't that much information on the market about this subject. And the people who were referring to it were people who were using, they're talking about the chakras and the aura, but the things that they had written were so vague that I didn't really find that they were very beneficial. They weren't specific enough for me. I'm pretty anal or detail oriented about these types of things, because you need to be in order to be able to utilize these different types of energies when you're working with people. And so as I went through this process of really detecting what the human energy system is and how it works, it took me a couple of years, and that's basically all I did. And I started with the attitude I knew nothing about it, and I was just trying to detect and to work with that. And what came out of that is I wrote this book. It's called Energetic Anatomy. I think all of you have seen it. And Energetic Anatomy goes into a great deal of detail about the human energy system. And the human energy system has different parts. So you could think of, both of you have heard of the acupuncture meridians before. The acupuncture meridians are structures that exist in your body that allow energy to move through your body, and they have different functions, and there's different ways you can coordinate working with the acupuncture meridians to help people with their health. And so this idea that there was something there and these structures are there was nothing new, but the way that I went about it was to get very specific, so I started to understand it so that I could help people to use it in different ways. So this is the first structure of this is the first thing that I saw. So this is what I saw around people. And people refer to this as an aura. Some people will call it an after effect, but what they're doing is they're seeing energy around people. And sometimes people will see different colors when they're working with this energy. Sometimes they'll see, different things that are not only right next to the body, but it goes out several feet away from your body. And this is the energetic core. Now, the energetic core lies in the geographical center of your physical body. So as you go front to back and side to side, the energetic core is right in the geographical center of your physical body. Whether you're in your torso, you're in your head, you're in your arms, you're in your legs, feet, whatever, it's in the geographical center of your body. So as I'm, in my hand then, it's right in between this part of the hand and then side to side. It's right in the center. And it's the same thing up the arm, up into your head, down your legs, your feet, everywhere. And this energetic core is a reservoir of life energy inside of yourself. It's also a much deeper place of energy and awareness as you start to learn to work with that. And we're going to do that in this class. Let's see, what else do I have on here? Okay, so the energetic core, having this energy inside of it, is the beginning place and is the ending place for all of the energy in your physical body. Oh wait, we got somebody else coming in here right now. Let me see if I can let them in. Let's see. Okay, there we go. Hopefully they'll be able to do that. Okay, so this energetic core is the beginning place and is the ending place for a lot of these energy structures. So everybody has heard the term chakras before. And what the chakras will look like to somebody who can see energy is this here. So from side, this is a side view. You can see what looks like these cones going down into this core of light inside of this person. So you've got one here, comes into the top back of your head. These come in right here at in between your eyebrows and out the back. These are paired. So the principle of yin and yang is something that we work with a lot here, because you see the whole principle of energy will come in here and goes out. So there's a movement in and out of energy. This one is at your throat. This one is here at the heart level. This is the solar plexus. This one here is below your belly button, and about in between the pelvic bone and the belly button, approximately in the middle. And this one comes out the bottom here. And you can also see in this picture there's one coming out the bottom of the feet. So there's a large one coming out the bottom of each foot, and there's also one coming out the center of your hand here like this. Now the first of these that we're working with here, these two here, this is more considered to be working with the sky element, things that are more not as solid. This going down to the earth is generally thought as being more grounding. This one here, this is where intuition and the logical mind are balanced. Here at your throat, it's all about communication, whether that's verbal or nonverbal communication. Most of the communication that we do isn't verbal. It's nonverbal, and it's communicated through body language. And this, even though it's at your throat where you would be speaking from, there's still a lot of things that happen here energetically that are part of nonverbal communication. This is at your heart level. So this one regulates your sense of love, your sense of caring, those types of things. It also works with the organ, the heart organ, and the organs that are directly related to this area. So you have the lungs here. All of these relate to the functioning of the organs as well. This is here at your solar plexus, how the diaphragm works, how you move physically. These here are related to physical movement and physical skills that you have with your body. So people who are really, skilled at movement, or athletes, that sometimes they'll have an imbalance here if they've used these too much. Some people don't have enough energy here. When we've been working with people on different kinds of exercise programs, this is something that I've seen in people when they're not physically fit enough. These will be very dwindled. You'll see that here in a minute as I start to break it down a little more. This one here, this set. Now in the energetic anatomy, I call these cones because they look like an ice cream cone, is the way they look. And they go through each of these layers that are around the body. You have 8 of these layers. You can see, I'm going to put the illustration up here. You can see that the layers that are coming off the side there, you've got this swirling energy that goes through there. It's like a spiral. And when you learn to work with this, you can increase your ability to improve your health throughout the entire energy system. So this one here relates to reproduction and sexual function, and then the other organs that are in this area, the bladder, etc., the lower, like the descending colon, and the, all of the any organs that are in particular in this area. And then this one here comes out right behind your coccyx, right beneath your coccyx, and of course it relates to the organs that are in that area. Now the ones that are on the hands and the feet, like this one here, are more related to movement skills. And there's a level of balance that you can start to find as you're working with these things, because they will contribute to your ability to perform different kinds of motor functioning skills. Different kinds of biomechanical skills can be increased as you learn to work with these at the hands and the feet in particular. The others as well. But when you start to coordinate movement with these, you can perform more complex motor patterning skills that allow people to develop different parts of their brain and their skills as a movement specialist. Okay, so let's take a look at another one here. So this is from the side here, and on this one here, you can see the one that's coming out of the, let's go this way. You can see the ones coming out the hands there, and then also the ones coming out the bottom of the feet. Now from the front, as you're looking at this, the ones here that you're seeing there at the, in between the eyebrows there is the same one that we just looked at. They just look differently from the front, because when you see them from the front, they look bigger. And so what you're going to have is you're going to have these cones. They'll start inside that energetic core that we talked about, and they go out away. And as they go out, they get bigger. And so the ones in the eighth layer are much bigger around. Typically, this will go out 2 or 3 feet away from your physical body. If you're in a poor state of health, or when you first wake up, they're more compacted because the energy has come down in. So when you see people who are using a lot of energy, they're very excited. Usually it will expand out a little bit. So there's a lot of different ways that this can be approached, but understand that these spiraling things that you see here are actually going down into that core, and then they also go away. So on this one as well, what you're looking at are the layers outside the physical body. There's 8 of these layers. And these layers are each have a function as well. So let me go ahead and put this one down here, and then I'll show you. So in this illustration, what we're looking at is we're looking at 3 different ways that these cones can be. So in this picture here on the top, what you're seeing is it's very narrow. So this is a person who would have more or less kind of a shut down heart space, because this one's coming out of the heart in the front here. And the one here, this may be too wide. Maybe this person is, too heartfelt, too loving, and they're not, taking care of themselves or something like that. And then this one here is pretty much a normal, balanced approach of energy there at the heart level. So there's a lot of different things that you'll see here, but one thing that you're going to notice when people have different psychological challenges or different health challenges, in particular, you're going to notice that these can be way more tweaked than this one. They could be very shut down, it could be very dark. So people who see energy, it'll appear as a dark type of an energy. And the energy, when it becomes restricted, in Chinese medicine, they'll refer to this as qi stagnation or qi restriction. And it's basically just energy that's not moving well in that area. So there's always this balance that we're looking for when we're working with these. If you're looking at, this is the thigh here, and you can see the layers coming out away from the body. And moving out, I don't have all of the 8 of the layers on here just to keep the illustration simple, but as you move away from the physical body, the layers you can see are getting wider. So it goes all the way down around your legs, around your feet, and then of course the arms, the hands. From the front, what we're looking at here, this is at the level of the torso. And so this is this is the back of the body here, this is the front. So as those are twisting down, so like, let's say we're looking at this one here. This here, from the side, if you're looking from a bird's eye view looking down, this is what you're going to see. So there's like an open area of energy here, and it's not stagnant, it's not completely open. And the way that we start to work with them is to start to balance the entire system. And there's a lot of different techniques that we'll be getting into with that one. Now this is an acupuncture meridian. And in this particular meridian, this is the lung meridian, you can see these tiny little cones here. Okay? They look exactly like a chakra, or what I call in the book, cones, because I wanted something that was more specific and more accurate to what people were really having. I wrote the book to be more or less kind of an anatomy book. But these come through all 8 of these layers as well. And so when people are doing acupuncture, they're actually putting points, they're putting needles into these. Sometimes they'll put the needles in, they'll twist the needle down in one way or the other way, depending on whether they want to reduce or increase the energy here and the depth of that particular, the needle insertion. So acupuncturists will tweak it that way. So you can see that this goes up the arm, and the energy from this, the energy from the core, which is in the arm, which would be in the center of the arm right here, is contributing to the energy that's actually moving through your meridians. So if you're in a poor state of health, you're not going to have a lot of energy in that energetic core. And so it's going to make it more difficult for your body to have a strong energetic response. There's different ways that people will refer to this in traditional Chinese medicine, but in general, as the energy beams out from the body, I mean, it's protective against different kinds of diseases. And so that's one of the reasons why acupuncture has been around as long as it has, because they're working with the energy system. They're helping to balance it out. It's always that balance that we're looking for. Now this is a picture of a person from the back. I made this with a massage client, and you can see in this picture here, over here on the left side, the rhomboids, which have a lot of tension and irritation, appear more black. And so this is an area of chi restriction. Because I can see energy, I could see the energy darker here. And so I would know when I'm working on people, because I can see the energy there, but then I can also feel the energy. You develop a sensitivity to when people have poor health, because they just energetically, they don't feel strong. There's not a vitality there. There's nothing really moving there. There's not a strength there in their energy. And so these types of restrictions will reduce the flow of energy throughout the body. And it also affects how you think. And your ability to have healthy mental functioning is strongly related to what's going on with these energy structures. And the energy that's also present in the physical body, because the energy system is also inside of the physical body. They work with each other. It's a back and forth thing. This is a picture of an ovarian cyst with a woman. She was a client of mine who I was working with her organs. I do organ massage, and so this is an ovarian cyst. This is what it looked like to me as I was working with her. She had to have a surgery, by the way. She had gone to several people. Nobody could figure out what it was, but then when I was able to see the angio, I told her it was something with her uterus. But she had an ovarian cyst, and she actually, had emergency surgery on that. But once again, you notice that darkness that's there. That's that restriction. And that darkness will, if you got a lot of dark areas in your body, you're going to tend to be more in a dark mood all the time. When things are moving there, you're more lighthearted. You feel better. You're in a lighter, happier mood. Now, as we go further into the energy system, this is called the Cords bundle. Now, the Cords bundle comes out at your navel, and this is a way you establish an energetic relationship with the physical world. So you've got 3 parts to the Cords bundle here. You've got this straight looking thing here, which is the will. This straighter portion of the Cords bundle will move these cords around and attach to things in the physical world. And then you have the cords, which attach to things, we attach to people. And when people have, if you've ever had the experience of like being in a situation where somebody may have wronged you or something, and every once in a while you think negative thoughts about them, it's because you have these tied into them, or sometimes people will be tied into you. And it's just an unhealthy relationship energetically. There's always a psychological component to all of this. And so addressing both can help you to be able to work with these. Now, these are very advanced. They don't teach these until much more advanced courses, because the approach that I take is to address the things that are really the most important to us. And the things that really cause a lot of problems with people, more than anything, is really what's going on between their two ears. It's the way they think. It's the beliefs that they have. Those are the things that really cause most of the problems that we have. And so using the energy system, the way you're going to learn in this class, you're going to be able to get into some of the challenge that you're having with the beliefs and the emotions that are keeping you from getting the things that you want, keeping you from having the health you want, the relationship, whatever it is, your business working a certain way. Because, everybody's heard of the law of attraction. Essentially what they're talking about is the beliefs that you have about things. Because when you have a positive belief that you can do something, you're more likely to do it. You're more likely to make something happen. When you don't, you're not gonna do it. In this illustration here, what we have is somebody utilizing. This is a picture of somebody, a rock climber, and this woman is going up the side of this. Let me pull it over here a little bit. The side of this rock face. And you can see, because she's applying so much attention, you can see these cords are straighter. So as the intensity of the exercise or intensity of the movement increases, this is what you're going to have, you're going to see more likely is a very strong attachment to things in the physical world. This is something called the tubes complex. These exist around and inside of your body. This is how you take energy in to your body, into that energetic core, and then you let it out the bottom here. So you'll take it in this side here, or this place here, the top. This is the lower bracket. This is the upper bracket of the tubes complex. You'll take in energy here, and then you let it out here. So this is, one of the things that I do every single night before I go to bed, or almost every single night, is I go lay on the earth after being around computers all day long, because I know if I don't, it's hard for me to sleep, because you end up with a bunch of stagnant energy inside of your body as a result of these. And there's a lot of research now showing that these the smart meters, the cell phone towers, and excessive levels of electromagnetic frequencies are very harmful to your physical body, and they get stuck in the body, and that can cause your organs to fail. One of the physicians that I work with here, he's been working with this for a long time, and he's seen some very negative health consequences as a result of smart meters, which are increasing the amount of EMFs. They get stuck in the body, and so you can get them out of your body. In particular, lying on the earth before you go to bed helps to get them out of your body, and so you're less likely to have those kinds of problems. And this picture here is the picture of the cords. Once again, this is just a cup of coffee, how you're establishing a relationship to a cup of coffee that you're about to drink. So all of these energy structures are working together. Now, for most people, these things are happening unconsciously, and it's only because they haven't been trained to work with them. And if we had been raised in a culture where this type of thing were more common, it would be a part of the everyday conversation. But when we were in school, we learned about what happened in the War of 1812, which is something that we use every single day, of course, right? So some of these things are things that you really have to focus on, because it's information that can be utilized successfully for your health and your well-being and to have the life that you want, but you've got to apply yourself to learn these things, because it's just not common. Okay, and this is a illustration of what kind of looks all together. You can see the cords bundle here. You can see I only put one of the tubes here, because if this were all on here, it would be way too complex. but you see the layers, you see the energetic core in the person, and this is a part, this is what it will start to look like with people who are working with energy. And the last illustration I have here, this is one of the cones or the chakras. You can see it's getting wider, and you have this spiraling of energy coming in and out of the body. Now, what we want to do in this class is we want to start to work with the energy system very simply. And we're going to do that because it's going to help you to relax physically and mentally and be able to get in touch more with your emotions. So mostly, what we're going to be using in this class is this energetic core right here. And the energetic core, once again, is in the geographical center of your physical body. Everybody's heard that expression, get more centered. What they really mean is feel more of this core energy, because when you're really coming strongly from the core, you're very centered. You don't get distracted easily. You can focus on the things that are important. And when your attention is drawn away, or you allow yourself to do whatever you do when you're getting distracted, you won't have that centeredness. You won't have that centeredness to be able to do things in a powerful manner. Okay, so what I want to do now is I want to have you start working with the energy. And what we're going to do here is I'm just going to have you close your eyes. You can just put your pens down and stuff and just sit comfortably, or you could stand too. And what I'm going to have you do is just close your eyes, and I want you just to start to feel your hands. So go ahead and close your eyes now. And I want you to feel your hands. And I want you just to feel the energy you feel at your hands. And you may start to feel kind of a buzzing energy, or you may start to feel like a prickly energy, but you just feel the energy, and then feel the energy in between your hands as you are focusing your attention there. And just allow yourself to get out of your head. And feel that energy. And now you can start to move your hands a little bit. And you're moving your hands, and there may be kind of a heaviness to it. There may be kind of a warmth to that energy. This is your life force that you're feeling in your hands. You may feel the energy going from one side to the other more easily. But really focus your attention in on your hands. You can bring them apart a little bit and then bring them together. And you can start moving your hand around. Maybe feel the back side of your hand as well. Continue to focus in. Now you can start to make a little bit of an energy ball. Just use your imagination like you're a kid. Don't have to take yourself too seriously. And just feel that energy in between your hands. Notice any sensations of warmth. Notice if you feel the energy closer in as you bring your hands together. Or as you pull them apart. And just become self-absorbed in a good way. Drop your thoughts and just feel energy there. That's all we're trying to do right now, is to feel that energy. Okay, you can go and open up your eyes now. So can I see by a show of hands of people who are able to see their energy or to feel something in between there?
Yeah.
Yeah, good. So everybody was able to see that energy, or not see it, but feel it. And that's your life force. So as you did that, and one of the things that started to happen is you start to get more relaxed when you tune into what's going on with this energy. And this is the state that we're going to build as we go through this class, because what we want to do is we want to get you into a relaxed enough state where you can start to feel what's going on with you emotionally, and the beliefs that are making those emotions exist inside of you, and particularly if they're not helpful. If you're afraid of certain things, or you're trying to create something in your life that's not happening, I can guarantee you there's a negative emotion in there somewhere that's contributing to that. And so being able to change those in a really specific way, like we're going to do in this class, is going to give you a lot of benefit, because you'll be able to focus on the things that you want. You'll have more of a level of clarity of why they're working or why they're not working. Okay, so what I want to do now is we're gonna shift gears a little bit here. We've been in our heads quite a bit, and I want to tell you another story. And way back in the day, I lived in Dallas, Texas, and this is back in the 1980s. And when I first got involved with starting to in the martial arts, like I was telling you before, we were doing different things where you could feel somebody throwing a punch at you, and you could feel it coming, so you got out of the way so that we could be better at fighting skills. But I was also a really serious athlete at that point, still am, and I would sometimes go out and I would just go and work out all night long just to see if I could do it. And I would go out and I would ride my bike for hours, or I would go climbing, across like baseball diamonds at the top above the home plate, and back and forth, and do push-ups and all kinds of things. And I would try to go all night long until dawn. And so one night I was out there doing this, and I finished up my workout, and it was dawn. The sun was starting to come up, and it was kind of cool because it was right before first light and everything. So I'm standing out in the middle of this field, and as I'm standing there, I've been working out all night long, so my awareness is very high, and I could smell the grass and the plants that were out there. And as I watched the sun starting to come up more and more, starting to get lighter and lighter, I was just kind of standing. I was kind of tense too all night long, because I'd been working out all night long and with no sleep, so that kind of tends to make it tight. So I was noticing a lot of tension in my shoulders, so I was trying to relax a little bit. And when I relaxed, I started to notice this energy around my body again, like I had seen in Dayton, Ohio, when we were doing that martial arts training. And as I relaxed, I could also see this energy around trees. Trees and animals also have this energy that people who develop this skill can see. You can also feel it. You can feel it and see it. But I started to see it around these trees. And as I'm listening to the birds, watching, I went into this, once again, this heightened state of awareness. And in that heightened state of awareness, I have a much greater degree of energy perception, and I could feel the energy more powerfully. And so what I realized then is that I really needed to be relaxed in order to be able to work with this energy. And that was a big revelation for me, because I had spent a good bit of time working on physical skills, not really realizing the importance of rest and recovery, but also this deeper state of relaxation that contributes to that, and also contributes to my ability to work with this energy. So what we're going to do now is we're going to do an exercise, and what I'm going to have you do is you can do this in a chair, or if you have a couch there, you can lie down. I'll give you a couple minutes. If you've got a big easy boy or something, you can sit down. But I want you to be in a place where you can relax, and you can feel your energy, and you can start to be able to draw it more easily into your physical body without any distraction. So if you need to take a little drink of water, go ahead and do that. But I'll give you about a minute or so to get yourself set up, and then we'll get started. Okay, so go ahead and get into a comfortable place now, whether you're going to sit in a chair, or if you're going to lie on a couch or a bed or a mattress, whatever you want to do, but get yourself comfortable where you can be undisturbed, and you can relax, and you'll feel good. Okay, all right, so we're going to go ahead and get started now. So I want you to go ahead and close your eyes. And what I want you to do is, with your eyes closed, I want you just to start to watch your breathing. And watch that breath coming in and out of your nose. And in a moment, what I'm going to have you do is I'm going to have you take a big breath in and then hold it. So go ahead and take that deep breath in, hold your breath, and now build all the tension from your entire body into your chest, into your lungs, and then I want you to blow it out strongly with your breath. That was good, but I know you can do better. Let's go ahead and take another deep breath in. Hold it. Build tension from all the different parts of your body into your chest. Build it. Build it. And blow it out strongly with your breath. And relax. Go ahead and take another deep breath in. Hold it. Really feel those areas in your body where there's tension, pain, distraction, and start to build all of that energy into your chest. Build it all. It's all just tension. Doesn't make you feel good. Build it in there and blow it out strongly with your breath. Get it out of your body. In a moment, I'm going to have you take a deep breath in, and when you do so, I'm going to have you hold that breath. And then I'm going to have you squeeze, tense, and tighten your feet. Go ahead and take a deep breath in. Hold it. Squeeze, tense, and tighten your feet. Squeeze it. Squeeze it. Let it go. Let all that tension out with your breath. Another deep breath in. Hold it. Squeeze, tense, and tighten your feet. Squeeze, squeeze, squeeze. And blow it out strongly with your breath. And relax. In a moment, I'm going to have you take a deep breath in, and when you do so, I'm going to have you squeeze, tense, and tighten your shins and calves. Go ahead and take a deep breath in. Hold it. Squeeze, tense, and tighten your shins and calves. Squeeze them, and let it go. Go ahead and take another deep breath in. Squeeze, tense, and tighten your shins and calves again. Squeeze, squeeze, and let it go. In a moment, I'm going to have you take a deep breath in, and when you do so, I'm going to have you squeeze, tense, and tighten your thighs and your quadriceps. Go ahead and take a deep breath in. Hold it, squeeze, tense, and tighten. And when you squeeze, tense, and tighten, do it in a way that makes your body feel good, not causes pain or more tension. So you're squeezing it, but it feels really good to squeeze those muscles. Squeeze, squeeze, and let it go. Take another deep breath in. Hold it. Squeeze, tense, and tighten. Your thighs and your quadriceps. Squeeze, 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 and let it go. In a moment, I'm going to have you take a deep breath in, and when you do so, I'm going to have you squeeze, tense, and tighten your gluteal area and your groin area. Go ahead and take a deep breath in. Hold it. Squeeze, tense, and tighten. Squeeze it real good, and let it go. Take another deep breath in. Hold it. Squeeze, tense, and tighten your glutes and your groin area again. Give it a good squeeze. Make sure it feels good when you're doing so. Squeeze, squeeze, and then let
Mark,
it go.
if you're there, we can't hear you.
Can you hear me now? Can you hear me? Can you hear me? Can you hear me, Dustin? What happened to this? Can you hear me now?
Yeah.
Okay, where did I lose you at?
Just after the last thigh squeeze.
Okay, go ahead and close your eyes.
Okay, here.
Go
We
ahead.
lost you there for a little bit, Mark.
Yeah, I don't know why. Technology's great when it works, but sometimes it doesn't. All right, go ahead and take another deep breath in. Hold it. Squeeze, tense, and tighten your gluteal area and your groin area. Squeeze, squeeze, and let it go. Take another deep breath in. Hold it. Squeeze, tense, and tighten your glutes, your groin area. Squeeze it. Squeeze it. Now let it go. In a moment, I'm going to have you take a deep breath in, and when you do so, I want you to squeeze, tense, and tighten your lower back and your abdominal area. Go ahead and take a deep breath in. Hold it. Squeeze, tense, and tighten your lower back and your abdominal area. Squeeze, squeeze, and let it out. And relax. Go ahead and take another deep breath in. Hold it. Squeeze, tense, and tighten your lower back and your abdominal area. Squeeze, squeeze, squeeze. Let it go. In a moment, squeeze it, let it go. All the tension out with your breath. Take another deep breath in. Squeeze, tense, and tighten your biceps, triceps, and shoulders. Squeeze, 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 and let it go. In a moment, I'm going to have you take a deep breath in, and when you do so, I'm going to have you squeeze, tense, and tighten your neck. Your hands and your forearms. Go ahead and take a deep breath in. Hold it. Squeeze, tense, and tighten. Squeeze, squeeze. Let it go. Take another deep breath in. Hold it. Squeeze, tense, and tighten your forearms and your hands. Squeeze, 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 and let it go. In a moment, I'm going to have you take a deep breath in, and when you do so, I'm going to have you squeeze, tense, and tighten your neck. Go ahead and take a deep breath in. Squeeze, tense, and tighten your neck. Squeeze, squeeze, let it go. Another deep breath in. Squeeze, tense, and tighten your neck. And let it go. In a moment, I'm going to have you take a deep breath in, and when you do so, I'm going to have you squeeze, tense, and tighten your face. Go ahead and take a deep breath in. Squeeze your face and scalp. Remember to do it only in a way that feels good. Let it go. Let all that tension out. Again, another deep breath in. Hold it. Squeeze, tense, and tighten your face and scalp. Squeeze, squeeze, and let it all go. Take another deep breath in. Squeeze, tense, and tighten your body, about 30%. Just a light squeeze. Anything that you might have missed before, give it a good squeeze. Squeeze. Let it go. Let all that tension out with your breath. Just let it go. And relax. I want you to imagine now a column of light coming down from the sky, soothing, relaxing, warming, healing light, coming down from the sky and striking the ground a few feet away from your feet. Soothing, warm light as it comes down from the sky. And that light starts to move towards you. Soothing, warming light. And it continues to get closer and closer. And you're surprised when it starts to come into your feet, up into your ankles, your shins, your calves, your knees. That light starts to move inside of your body. And it starts to move up your thighs, filling up your thighs and up into your gluteal area, soothing, warming, healing light. See that light coming into your body, healing and soothing everything that it touches as it moves through your whole body, your abdomen, torso, down your arms, into your hands, into your head, completely filling your entire body with this warming, soothing light. And now you feel your entire body filled up with light, and start to feel that light around your body. And now I want you to start to feel your body getting heavy, heavier and heavier, as though you were made of rocks or steel, as your body sinks down into the chair. Everything's sinking down to the ground. You feel no resistance at your knees, your hips, your shoulders. Everything's sinking down. Heavier and heavier. Sinking down your neck, your head, everything heavier and heavier. You feel no resistance now as you let go of anything that's holding it up as it gets heavier and heavier as you sink down more. And then you start to notice a difference. You start to feel yourself in your body, you start to feel a little bit lighter. And as you're feeling yourself laying there, you feel that sense of lightness, almost like you could float up out of your body. Such a contrast to the heaviness where you just feel this lightness, almost like you could float out of yourself. You stay in your body, you're just feeling yourself very light. Now I want you to identify an area of tension or pain in your body. I want you to give it a name. I want you to give it a shape. Combine those two, and then to start to make it smaller and smaller, and then pass it out of your body down into the earth. Away from your body, out of your body. In a moment, I'm going to have you take a deep but gentle breath in. And when you do so, you're going to hold your breath and then build any remaining tension in your body, into your lungs and your chest, and then let it out gently with your breath. Go ahead and take that deep but gentle breath in. Hold it. Build any tension, distraction, or pain in your chest, and let it out with your breath. Another deep but gentle breath in. Build any remaining tension into your chest. Build it. build it and let it out with your breath. Go ahead and take another deep but gentle breath in. Hold it. Any more tension, distraction, or pain in your body, just build it in your chest. Really just get rid of it now. Build it up in there and just let it all out with your breath. And now I want you to start to just gently wiggle your fingers and toes, your hands, your arms, legs. Then you can go ahead and open up your eyes. You can come back. Okay, great. So, who feels more relaxed, more at peace, calmer inside of themselves right now? Good. So this exercise is a very simple exercise, but it's very profound in how it works. Because what's happening here is, because of the way it's designed, it will take you to a very deep state of relaxation. And that deep state of relaxation is where you're going to need to be at to really access the human energy system to your full capacity. And also in this state now, you feel better emotionally because that physical tension relates to these negative emotional states, the fears, the angers, all of those things. It makes your body feel bad, but then you're also running a lot of negative programs inside of your head. Now, when I'm working with people with their emotions, one of the things that I start to have them do is I start to have them associate to their emotions more. A lot of people are very disassociated from their emotions. They don't really feel if I were to ask most people, what are you feeling emotionally right now? What they'll usually do is they'll rationalize. They'll give me some sort of story about what's going on or why this is working or why that isn't working. And that's not really what it is. There's very specific emotions. So if you were to ask me right now what emotion that I'm feeling confident because I've taught this to a lot of people and I know that it works. Being able to be clear about what you're actually thinking is one of the segues, or what you're thinking and feeling is one of the segues into the emotions and the deeper places inside of you where these beliefs that are formed when we're very young, in many cases, and run the show until the day we die, are stored. And we want to be able to get in there and change those things because, like I said before, the patterns that we have as we really try to push ourselves, as we really try to create a better reality or a better life, they're linked to those patterns. Now, your emotions are something that come from the beliefs that you have. But when we have beliefs when we're very young, between the ages of 0 and 7, we start to develop beliefs about the world. And a lot of this is done by unconscious modeling. We're modeling our parents. We model the way our parents act. We don't have the ability to actually question what our beliefs mean and if they're even true or not. That's between the ages of 0 and 7. And the challenge with this is that those beliefs that are in there are generally what forms the base of your personality and who you are and what you become in life. That's why so many systems try to work with children when they're very young so that they have good healthy beliefs in there, so as they get older they're going to develop psychologically and physically and socially and everything else in a more appropriate manner. There's some systems where deliberately try to create beliefs between the ages of 0 and 7 which are not helpful to you. So you have to be careful about not only what you're thinking now, but also what, as you consider what you're doing as you're going through life, start to think about what's in there. But the challenge is this, I'm going to brace this up just a little bit. When you're 0 to 7, you don't have the ability to question these beliefs. Cognition, which starts between the ages 11 and 13, is when you can actually question these beliefs and their validity. Now, once again, most of us didn't learn this kind of stuff in school when we were that age. We weren't taught to question those beliefs in many cases. And so what happens is between the ages of 0 and 7, we've got all these beliefs which form a very deep level of programming that will come out as behaviors that we do. And let me ask you a question. Have any of you ever done something and then afterwards you're asking yourself, now why did I do that? Have any of you ever had that experience? That's what that is. It's that unconscious programming. And between the ages of 0 and 7, the beliefs are formed, but we can't really touch them until the ages of 11 to 13 if our parents and our education and social structure and all of that encourage it, which they usually don't. A lot of people, there's the number of thoughts that people have in a day ranges from 6,000 on the low end to 60,000. I don't think it's 60,000, but a lot of people quote that number. I think it's way too high. But if you're thinking 4 thoughts every minute, that's about 6,000 thoughts a day. 6,000 times 365 equals 2.16 million thoughts. You multiply that by the ages between the ages of 7 and 11, you've got 4 years. It's 8.5 million thoughts ago. I mean, what were you thinking yesterday at this time? Do you remember the thoughts that were going through your head? Or 2 weeks ago or a month ago? You don't remember them. Now, some of these are very similar thoughts to what you had before. And that's just more proof of that unconscious programming, that you continue to run a lot of the same thoughts in your head, even though you know darn well that they don't help you sometimes. And so what we do here is the first step towards really having a powerful way to work with all of this is to start to use what I call the standing order of the day. And the standing order of the day is watch what's going on in your thoughts. And doing this exercise that I just gave you will calm you enough to where you can actually start to watch these thoughts going through your head. And you'll start to notice patterns in the way that you're thinking. But the conscious observation of these thoughts allows you to really utilize what I call the standing order of the day, which is if you start to have a negative emotion, you need to catch it. You start finding yourself feeling afraid, or you start getting angry about something, and you're not really able to change that. You need to stop and really, consider, why am I having this fear, this anger, so that you can change it. Because those negative emotions will produce a bad result in your life. I mean, if you're walking around all, pissed off, what's going to happen? I mean, you're going to either snap at somebody, you may trip, you may stub your toe, you may do something. You're going to do something that's not going to be beneficial. Whereas if you're walking around calmly and confidently and joyously, you're much more likely to have a positive result. So the first thing that we need to do is we need to establish that every single second of your day, you're watching what you're thinking, you're watching the emotions that you have. Because when you start to feel those negative emotions, and we all have them, you catch it and you start to question why it is, and you figure out a way to make it a positive emotion. Now, we're going to go into this particular thing much more in depth as we go through this class and teach you how to do that. It's a very simple way to look at your emotions, and it's a very simple way to change what's going on emotionally with you. And that's going to give you the first step to really getting into the what's going on with yourself, but also start moving deeper. And as you become relaxed, you become present with what's going on, you're calm enough to watch what's going on inside of yourself. I mean, we've all had the experience where we get so involved in something, and we're trying, we're watching the clock, and then our head's starting to spin around, and then we've got things going on. Then suddenly we're agitated and aggravated. It's not a helpful place to be. When we get like that, we screw things up. We do not create a positive outcome in our life. So we establish that the standing order of the day is to start to watch that. And that gives you the groundwork to start to work with it more powerfully. Now, what we're doing in this class is we're really working with the emotions that are... The emotions are a big subject. But the emotions that we're going to be working with in this class are the emotions that are a result of your thought processes. Now, that's not the only way that people will experience their emotions. So I want to really help you to start to understand this, because everybody's had the feeling before, like something's not right. Something's off. You could be walking down an alley somewhere, something doesn't feel right, you stop. Maybe there's some wino up, some guy that's drunk there that's looking all shifty laying on the ground or something, and you take a wide berth around them. But when you have a feeling like something's not right, something's off, there's emotions in that as well. Those are not emotions from your logical mind. And so what we're going to be doing in this class is to help you to develop that awareness and that relaxation, have the skills necessary to start to work with those emotions that are really coming from your thought processes. And that's the first place that we start. And we'll start to give you this deeper sense of yourself emotionally, but it's also going to help to start to stop the negative patterns that were formed between the ages of 0 and 7. And later as well in life. It's not just from the ages of 0 to 7, but as you start working with what I'm presenting to you more and more, you start to see these patterns, and you start to see like, wow, why am I doing this? It's like, I heard this when I was 6 years old, and I just started thinking a certain way, and it's not really rational. But you got to realize between the ages of 0 to 7, once again, you don't have the ability to change those things. And so between the ages of 0 and 7, as your brain develops and your body develops, a good bit of what you do is you're just modeling your parents. And you don't model what your parents tell you, you model what your parents are doing. You don't model the words. You, as a little infant or a little kid, when your parents are there, you're feeling your parents, but you're feeling what they're putting out on a more of an intentional level. They may be telling you to go clean your room and be a good boy, but then they're over here, drinking beer and or taking a shot of liquor, and you're like, wait a minute, something doesn't feel right here, because you're telling me this, but I'm actually feeling you do that. So children will get confused sometimes, but they also pick up these patterns very deep inside of ourselves. You get into very deep levels of development of our psyche from infancy up until that, roughly 7 years old. And as infants, where some of this even starts, back in infancy. As an infant, infants can't tell the difference between somebody else and themselves. To them, it's all the same thing. If you talk to people who have worked with, this type of a thing and gotten deep into it. And this is my own experience as well. I work with this a lot inside my own psyche, that as a little infant, you can't, it's like it all feels like you. And so you don't have the ability to think, and, well, that's my mother and that's my father. You don't have that yet. And so as you develop, you start to pick up these things. And if you pick up things from your parents, which are not contributing to for the life that you really want to have now, the life that you're called to, you're going to have to make some changes in there. And because if you don't, those programs are in there till you croak, guaranteed. They will stay in there for the rest of your life until you change them. And when you find yourself stuck in these patterns, we all have this. Things that we do that just don't make any sense, that we don't like about ourselves. It relates to something. Oh, you can find a segue back into something further and further inside of yourself. But the standing order of the day, get that in your head. Watch that as you start to go through things and you start to, if you start to find yourself getting a little pissed off, you got to back off and figure out another approach so that you're always in that more positive state emotionally. So as we're talking about emotions, generally speaking, we have two types of emotions: positive emotions and negative emotions. Positive emotions are happiness, bliss, joy, confidence, compassion. Those are examples. There's several thousand different emotions that have been identified. On the more negative side, fear, anger, jealousy, lust, hatred, all of those. Unfortunately, a lot of people orient more towards the negative emotions than the positive emotions. And so if you start spending time around people who are really successful and they're happy, they tend to spend most of their time in a positive emotional state. It helps your body to move better. It helps you to feel better. It helps to have positive outcomes in your life. And you're not always going to know how things are going to turn out for the better. But if you stay in that positive state, stuff just tends to happen for you more easily. And it's just the law of attraction. Once again, the law of attraction, it essentially says you create what you think about, which is what I'm talking about. It's like the thoughts create the emotions. So as we start to watch everything that's going on with ourselves, and we just go like, look, I really want to have this better life, and you just apply it. You stay right there. This is the discipline. Oh, I'm always focused on this. I'm always going to stay right here, and I'm going to make this happen inside of myself. And you're experiencing a better place inside of yourself. Now, most people consciously want to be more positive. Most people don't want to walk around being all angry and afraid. They're just not willing to apply the effort that it takes to do this. And it's a lot of effort because there's a lot of different things that come at you consciously and unconsciously. Unconscious triggers in your environment that will link you back to a negative emotional place inside of yourself. And it will, and we've all had this experience where you're going along, you just get stuck in a pattern, and suddenly it's like you're not in a good place, and you don't want to be there. Some of that is because we just get distracted. That's starting to get a little more advanced as we start to approach why these things happen. But for now, the standing order of the day: start to pay attention to what's going on inside of yourself emotionally. And if you start to find those negative emotions coming up, catch it right there in that moment. Don't let it build. Don't let it build. You've got to, take a walk, do some deep breathing, do some breathing, eat some healthy food, drink enough water. Some people just think negative thoughts because they're dehydrated. I can guarantee if I start getting into a sour mood, the first thing I do is drink water. A lot of it. Sometimes I'll drink like 1.5 gallons by 2 o'clock in the afternoon, just because I know, particularly when I'm working out, I'm just chucking water because I know it helps me to stay in that positive state mentally. When your body's dehydrated, you're not going to be able to think positive thoughts very easily. It's really important that you do that. I want you to be healthy. I want you to be happy. So we're going to work on this. We're going to get down to have some real powerful skills that are going to help you to change these things, start to really get into those deeper places of yourself. Because as you do, you start to have this level of power that starts coming through you. Physically, mentally, we're able to manifest things on a deeper level, and you know there's more of a deeper connectedness there. So that's the direction that we're going. Okay, so tomorrow then we will start right at 12 o'clock. I'll have the technology figured out better at that point. I apologize for all of the technology things. Joan and I are going to talk for a while, Destin, and
Okay.
I'll see you in here tomorrow at noon. Okay, buddy?
Yes, sir.
Okay, man.
Have
Take
a
care,
good
man.
rest of your day.
Okay, you too.
Bye, Dustin.
Bye.
Okay, Joan, how you doing?
I'm good. I came to the kids club. I'll show you real quick. We're turning it into an event space, but it used to be the kids zone, right? But anyway, I came in here because, to do the exercise. And what was trippy, Mark, was after we came out, he said he could open our eyes or whatever. No, before we opened our eyes. Anyway, so towards the end of the exercise, before we open our eyes, before you even said, when you're talking about the light, you're like, okay, imagine a pillar of light in front of you. I was like, oh, but the pillar of light's on me already. And like the pillar of light was like on me towards like, I don't know. I noticed it somewhere like in the middle of the exercise, like just like light on me, right? And then before you even said the theory, you're like, okay, notice the light coming towards you. I was like, oh, but I'm already in the light. I'm like, okay, well, whatever. I'm just listening. And then the light started turning from like a yellow to like white, and then it turned white, and then and I remember you saying, okay, feel like the heaviness and then like I was like, oh, I already knew you said, okay, you're gonna start to feel yourself float, and I started giggling because I was like, oh, it's happening before you say it. You said it, so I was like, oh, I'm on the right track, yay! And so. Yeah, I'm like, yay, this is great, So, but yeah, I mean, totally, like a lot of the things that you said, I resonate with, because I guess I've been listening to like Bruce Lipton and Dr. Joe Dispenza, so all of the things about emotions being trapped in the body, and I was just thinking about like, okay, my hands getting numb, like why on my trip in Hawaii, at one point, like it was starting to get numb and stuff, and I noticed it was towards the ending as I was gonna have to come back to Medford. And I think that the emotion or the tension, the emotion of sadness that I was leaving my family, but I know I have to go. It's not my time to be in Hawaii yet, but I'm sad,
Yeah.
So like, and then just talking to my husband about my feelings and what I was feeling. And it's funny because my friends were like, oh my God, are you gonna move? I'm so excited. Like, I bet you're excited, all those things. And I said, I remember telling my friend after I got back, I was texting her and I said, you know what? I was sad to leave my family, but I know that the work that Gabe and I have here is not done yet. It's not time for me to go back.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I know that in my spirit, in my gut. And I said, I know I'll go back to help my sister and to help my sister with my mom. I've made peace with that. And I have peace with that, but I know it's just not time yet for us to be back there.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
Yeah. But I mean, as you talked about it with Gabe,
Yeah.
then you also noticed your arm felt better too?
Oh yeah, like I could relax, like I could cry, I could emote,
Yeah.
and I think I'm really thankful that I have an awareness of the emotions. I allow myself to go, what am I feeling? How do I feel? And express it,
Mm-hmm.
So I'm really thankful that I have that safe space to do that. And I definitely am excited about, the timing of this, Mark, is amazing because I know that, okay, so I'll just tell you, so part of my job here, I'm moving into a 1099 situation, right? Which I'm really excited about, obviously. And, but I'm kind of like, okay, hurry up. But I'm like, okay, everything in God's time, Joan. God has a plan and a purpose and steps, and his steps are ordered. So just be obedient. And I'm like, okay, what what more do I need to be obedient in that I've not been obedient in, or that I've stopped? And like one of the things that keeps coming back to me is my YouTube channel, you know, and I'm like, okay, Joan, what is your fear, or what is your hang up? So I'm having this conversation with myself, right? But what's the fear? What's the hang up? What's the na, right? And so like those are probably the two biggest things for me is what's the fear and or hang up regarding that. You know what I mean? So, so the timing of what we're doing, of you doing this, and you kind of going, hey, Joan, da 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 da, and I'm just like, oh my gosh. And I was just thinking about it, and I was like, man, I wish I told my mom and my sister to get on this call, but maybe I need to experience it first, and maybe your next iteration. I don't know. I don't know, but you know, I don't know, but the answer. But obviously, I know that this would be beneficial for because my mom's going through some health stuff, and my sister is too. So, obviously,
Well, you know,
I know that they'll benefit from it.
Yeah, I mean, when we get to the end of the class, you're going to see you're going to have a very simple way to work with these emotions, and it's very empowering because as you get better at doing it, I mean, the first few times you do it, you know, there's that more of an awkward learning step, but after a while, it just becomes more or less automatic the way that you're thinking. Because I can change if I start to feel some funky emotion, I'll just go through the little process. Sometimes it only takes a few seconds, and bang, I'm back. You know, but it's catching yourself right there. That's a big part of it.
Yeah.
And it's interesting what you were saying before, like you kind of, you know, God has God's steps, and you know you got to be obedient. I mean, that's where you start. And you're also like, well, you have this feeling about your YouTube channel, right? Yeah. See, that's like there's sort of that. I don't go into the whole guidance aspect other than to talk about the emotions, because it's important for a lot of people to understand that not every emotion that you have is something that's coming about as a result of your thinking process. And to make that distinction, like if something doesn't feel right, and there's that fear, that anger usually is what it is, that's not something that you can change just by a psychological intervention like I'm teaching in this one. It's a different kind of a thing. Like, you'll need to go work on the YouTube channel. You know, it's like, it's a real specific thing. You know, you're following God's plan at that point. But this, you know, the reason why I go into all these emotions is because, like I was saying before, where the rubber meets the road with people in their daily life is their emotions. The quality of your emotions is the quality of the life that you live, essentially. And because I've been doing all of this so long, I can look back from a much, much, much larger body of knowledge and realize that, you know, helping people to find this place in themselves where they can make these changes. And then when I teach the class, you'll see as we go through, so I'm going to start to explain how the human psyche develops. Get into the unconscious and change the programming there. And when you do that, you are you walk around like a different person. You won't even recognize yourself, but you're like, I'm happy. I'm doing what I'm supposed to. There's no physical tension. You know, you're not in your head, and you're just better. But you make the changes. I don't make them. You make them to yourself. But it's just how do you do it? It's a very specific way that you do it. And this is kind of one of the things that's more like God's plan for me was like, well, I was shown this, so now I feel like I need to share with people because it really does work. The people who do it, like, they get phenomenal results. It's just you got to take the time to do it, you know?
Oh, I believe that.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. No, thank you. I'm excited. So I blocked it off in my calendar. Like I said, the only day, Thursday is the only day that I'll have to cut my, you know, time short here, and you might see me disappear. But all the other days I have blocked off. So I'll come back into this room here. And so I'll have to figure out my setup for this room because it's still a little bit raw. You know, we're still, they still have to paint some things and stuff like that. So, but so I already told Zeke and Michael, it's like, for the next 5 days, I'll be not available between 12 and 1:30.
There you go.
Yeah.
All right, well, cool. I'll be recording it, and then you'll have Thursdays, of course. And then,
perfect.
We'll get started tomorrow at 12, go into it more, and just keep plugging along. Do you have any questions right now?
No, I don't. I think, in fact, on Wednesday, shucks, I forgot. I think I have to go find out. I think I might have to cut short that day because I think we have a 1 o'clock with our owners too. But I'm gonna see if I need to be at that exact meeting with the owners, or if the 2 other managers can just be on it
Okay.
without me.
All right. Sounds good.
Yeah, but I'll be here.
Okay. Sounds good. All right then. I'll see you.
Thanks, Mark.
Yeah. I'll see you tomorrow at 12.
Okay, see you tomorrow.
All right. Thank you. Bye.
Okay, bye bye.